How's it going, boys? Didn't see you there. It's me, Quasar77, better known as 100% completely straight, traditionally masculinely representative. Completely not gay shirt dude, that's right. And don't you dare write anything else in the comments, you filthy, filthy little thing. In any case, you're probably wondering what this is about. Or not, because most likely the title of this video is very self-explanatory. But yes, you are not alone. If you are thinking that currently Magic the Gathering Arena is barely playable for the average not sweat person, then you would be right. For the last roughly 3 weeks, the matchmaking algorithm has been ridiculously abysmal. Ridiculously abysmal. It has been a long time since it has honestly been this bad. I would say the last time it was that bad was roughly something like 2 years ago, and I know why it's happening, and you can see it on SteamDB. Okay, this is Magic the Gathering Arena on Steam. Steam is granted probably the smaller percent of Magic players at this point, even though I don't know, is mobile only on Steam or is it like a separate thing? I have no idea. But mobile is actually a pretty big thing, so I wonder how many people are there. But Steam is enough of a player base for us to establish a pattern. Because when it comes to the statistics, if you did not know, if you have 1,000 people survey, it's actually like not rigged, then on average that 1,000 people are gonna represent pretty much very, very straightforward the opinion of 10,000 people, 100,000 people, and 1,000,000 and 100,000,000. The moment you go to a big enough number, which is typically in the rough thousands, it's going to be roughly the same outcome as you would actually interview or survey 1,000,000 or even 1,000,000,000 people. Now, granted, the higher, the more accurate it is, but smaller doses are actually pretty accurate when it comes to the statistics. And by the way, if someone of you does not know, I, like Pirate Software, obviously, love saying that I've worked 7 years at Blizzard, but instead of Blizzard, I have a bachelor's in business logistics, and I've worked in the government in statistics and business and all of that stuff. So I'm like one of 5 YouTubers that exists that my life did not start and end as a McDonald's failure if YouTube did not exist and luck out for me. And again, YouTube is 100% luck, nothing else. You can try as much you want, but luck is going to be the deciding factor. Do you get big or not? Just saying that so I piss off a lot of losers. In any case, we're not here to be nice today. We're here to be absolutely factual and dismantle Arena. So, that's just so you know I'm not randomly yapping, even though I do that a lot because, you know, I'm still a clown at the end of the day at the internet who just says things. And it's your choice to believe me or not, and considering I know how the average Magic player is, I mean, that's a fucking tall order. Listen, I have a second channel where I talk about a lot of nonsense, and the Magic channel comments still take the absolute cake when it's anything else but meme comments. I have had, the last time we talked about pattern recognition, I don't even honestly know how to say this, how absolutely fucking sad it is. There were multiple people who said, pattern recognition? All humans have the same pattern recognition. Yes. The mouth breeding problem with Magic in general is off the fucking charts, I'm not gonna lie, boys. The fact that someone can say that comment and some people are like, wait a minute, you know, he's right. All humans have the same level of pattern recognition. If you believe that, I'm just stop the video right here. Good day, good night. I don't even want you to listen. I'm not gonna lie, okay? If you believe something that's stupid, there's nothing I can ever say to actually convince you. So, with that being said, let's talk about matchmaking rigging, because it has been horrible in the last roughly 3 weeks. My god, is it bad. And the reason it's bad, it's pretty obvious. It's because, well, we had the Final Fantasy boom, and then edging in the multiverse was August 1st, by the way. And it was horrible. Like, people, people did not enjoy this absolute slop. First of all, Final Fantasy was great. The power of the cards was fun. A lot of interesting cards, a lot of new builds. No random BS meme mechanic that, like, web slinging or whatever bullshit is going to be in the Spider-Verse garbage. You know, because Final Fantasy is owned by Square Enix, there was no absolute woke art or any of that. There were women that looked like women, and Cloud was not black. And I know, talking stuff like this is pretty dangerous in the magic circles because there's a lot of fucking freaks in the magic sphere, I'm not gonna lie. They exist, and they are actually a pretty big part of magic, and they should be removed, okay? Gatekeep the shit out of your hobbies. Gatekeep the shit out of them. We have seen, look at what's happening currently with anime, because they did not gatekeep it hard enough. We're literally getting essays about Freeran demons being misunderstood and the good guys. Sad. Fucking sad. In any case, I do think it's too late for magic, but you know, still, just to point it out. And Edge of Eternities was absolute woke overdrive. Oh my god. There was not a single dude that had a shred of muscles on them. There was not a single woman that looked like a woman at all. And there was not a single white angel. Not white as in a color white and an angel card, but I mean skin color white angel, because yeah, Wizards has been on an absolute killing spree when it comes to a remake Norse mythology and angels into pure black. That's been a thing, by the way, I'm not kidding, that has been happening. Look at all the recent angel art in like the past year and a half. It's insane. But Wizards is obviously a woke company. They're complete fucking idiots. But that's probably the most minor complaint, even though all of these complaints do come together and they do contribute to the loss of player base. And whenever the set is bad and people are leaving and the numbers are going down, as I mean, it's clearly visible right here. This was Final Fantasy and this was edging to Eternities. Yeah, it's a shit show. Every time the numbers go down, the rigging just becomes insane. Now, granted, the rigging has always been in Arena, and I know there's going to be people, especially Germans, who are going to be, what proof do you have of Arena being rigged, except the fact that the developers said that you are... By the way, this is my favorite, because I have never actually went in depth in it, and it logically makes no fucking sense. It's the one you have probably heard. It is the one where, oh, at the start of the game, Arena draws you 2 hands. And it chooses the best hand for you out of 2 drawn hands. And there is no land smoothing or anything like that. That is currently an official version. The funny part is there was a developer that actually came out and did say that there is land smoothing for Arena, which you need to be completely fucking retarded. I am sorry, but it's just blatantly obvious to not know that there's something with that there is land smoothing and hand smoothing in general. And if you don't believe, again, well, how can we talk about this so often and there'd be so many people who are going to say, oh, this is not true? Bro, go play Mono Red Aggro in Historic. Play 19 lands and see how 80-70% of all games you have 4 lands by turn 4. Just go and play it and be amazed how you can play 18 lands and you're going to have 4 lands on turn 4. 70 or 80% of all games. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. In ranked, by the way, in ranked. I do think a lot of people get conflated because normal is completely different matchmaking than ranked. You can also test that by just going and playing, for example, landfall, green landfall in standard normal play, and see what you match up against there. But surprise, surprise, it's going to be actually other landfall decks, and it's going to be other creature decks, the vast majority. And then you can go and queue up ranked and see how you're only playing in spot removal control. Yes, that's literally the life we live. But even though it's literally 5 minutes to test that shit, people are still gonna be like, "Oh no, that's not true." But just test it. If me saying this is not enough, if me showing this is not enough, you testing this is not enough, then why are you even bothering? Your opinion cannot be changed no matter what is being said. Okay? And by the way, that's just a slight tangent, I guess. But that is actually the current situation of Ranked. Because, oh my god, it's so hard to actually make those videos. I'm gonna talk about other ways that we have proved that the matchmaking is being rigged, and the logic there. Oh, right, I didn't finish the logic about the drawing 2 hands. Have you ever thought about the logic about drawing 2 fucking random card hands and then picking the best? How absolutely fucking blatantly redundant that is in theory? In practice, even more? What's the point of drawing 2 random hands? You still need to find a way to algorithmically tell which hand is better. And if you have an algorithm that is capable of telling which hand is better, why draw 2 sets of random hands if you can just draw 1 set of random hands based on win ratio? Because the optimal win ratio is 50%. More about that in a second. And just give that person a hand based off of win ratio that should be good or bad. Like, the concept of drawing 2 fucking hands and then choosing the best is purely autistic and does not stand to scrutiny. It just makes no sense. Because they still need to implement an algorithm that can tell if that hand is good or not. And if you have that algorithm, there's no point in drawing 2 hands. But I digress. So that's already, by the way, 2 ways of rigging the game, because one is, the lands, which is now forgotten. People have forgotten that was even a conversation, and a Wizards employee confirmed that there is land smoothing because they don't want non-games, aka games where you don't have lands, which is clearly something, if you play Control in Standard, that you're gonna be not agreeing with, because I don't know about you, but I'm having an awful lot of games where I'm playing Standard and it's some kind of Control deck, and I have 2 lands in 10 turns of drawing with 24 lands. Strange, is it not? In any case, and the 50% win ratio thing, this has been confirmed by, at this point, I think it's literally hundreds of studies. You can just Google that. Riot Games has patented this. Valve has patented this. Literally most multi-billion-dollar companies, Activision, Valve, Riot Games, have patented their own version of matchmaking adjustment, so it's as close to 50% win rate as possible. This was first leaked by Riot Games, by the way. Someone leaked it, because no one actually knew that they have this kind of algorithm and patent pending and things like that. But effectively, it is undeniable. The average person enjoys the game and spends more time in the game. And the goal of every game, by the way, is to make you play it more. The more time you spend in the game, the closer you are to buying stuff. It doesn't matter if your timer is like a year, 10 years, or 2 days. The more time you spend in the game, the inevitably closer you are to buying a microtransaction. So this is why every single game's main objective is to just keep players in it. This is why your mobile slob games have daily login rewards and all of that jazz. This is why daily quests exist and so on. It's just purely for that. And needless to say, 50% is when people play the most, because that is the most entertaining amount for a person. Plus some caveats when you're about to rank up and you're just missing that one game for a rank up. But those are my minute situations, and they honestly don't matter in the grand scheme of things. But effectively, when it comes to matchmaking rigging, you have examples of it already happening, blatantly obvious reasons why matchmaking should happen, because it's beneficial for the company, because the company wants to make money, And honestly, those two are just good enough on their own to justify these things. And not to mention all the other things, it's like, okay, so we have these two types of matchmaking rigging already proven. And then we also had the situation where Wizards fucked up and made it so that in Commander the rigging was figured out. Now, granted, most of us already knew that in Commander, cards have certain weights, but we never were able to prove this. Again, the crazies got proven right. Surprise, surprise, pattern recognition exists. I know, crazy, right? And by the way, the people who are not gonna tell you pattern recognition exists can't fucking do basic math to figure out if you're playing 40 lands in a commander deck with 100 cards, that you're on average drawing like 2.8 lands per hand. That's basic math. The people who are gonna tell you that these things don't exist don't even know basic math and are fucking mind blown when they see these things that they should be able to calculate on their hand. But I digress. Magic the Gathering is a great game with many great people who have absolutely fucking blatantly autistic ideas and principles, and I just can't. Well, again, doesn't matter. But I mean, people found out exactly how much a single card weighed in the game because it actually because if you put a 99, and this is how they calculated every weight of a card, right? They put 99 lands in a deck, and then they just swapped out one card because the deck wasn't strong enough to be matched against anything because it didn't fit in any bracket. It just didn't allow you to queue. Yes, it just didn't allow you to queue. And that's how they calculated the weight of every card. Now, granted, if you ever played Brawl in Historic, and if you have an IQ above 80, you have probably already noticed the obvious. If you're playing Gallows, Essica Bridge, the legendary human guy, what's his face? If you're playing any of these decks, you're probably playing literally 9 out of 10 games exactly against other types of these decks because they're S tier. They simply will stomp and dominate everything. Now, if you play anything else, like a Verse Commander, you will stop playing against them until the point that you get a high enough win rate, and the game is like, well, we need to hit you down a peg because reasons. And then you play against Essica Bridge with your 4-win, 5-win streak because all the other people just lost against you. This is how it works. Like, every single person with an IQ above 80 probably noticed this in Brawl happening to some form or another. Maybe you didn't notice the fact that you're gonna that depending on the amount of wins you have, you're gonna then jump into the S ranks until you lose enough, and then you're put back against the average decks. But you probably noticed that there's a severe difference of matchmaking when you played like Essica Bridge or some random shit that no one really plays and it's not really good. And depending on the cards that you put in your deck, also the same can happen. You can actually play a really powerful commander, like for example the 5-cost Teferi, and you can use the burst, the most lukewarm good mono white and mono blue cards, and you can actually still sometimes play against not Essica builds and things like that. Because also other cards also impact obviously how good your deck is. If you use all of the staple staple cards for powerful Brawl decks like the One Ring, Palantir, Orb, and all of the mana rocks, you're probably getting ranked higher because your deck value is greater. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because we have multiple formats, multiple confirmed reasons to rig the game, and people still are gonna say game rigging does not happen. My dude, are you even listening to yourself? The game is already rigged in this many ways, and I, by the way, am not even gonna go into my great experience when 2 years ago when I was still actually 3 years ago at this point, 3 years ago when I was streaming this stupid game. And I was a rank 300 mythic. We peaked at like rank 300 or 200 mythic. And for 5 hours straight, I was literally queuing only in to 3 people. In the whole of fucking mythic, there were only 3 people for 5 hours straight playing the game. Let's ignore that. Let's ignore also all the random statistics that I counted. Like, for example, Heliod being literally, what was it, like 50 games of mono white life gain that I counted, and Heliod being on curve on turn 3, always like 90% of the games. Core Spirit Dancer being on turn 2 80% of the time in like 40 plus games, and when it wasn't on turn 2, it was always on turn 3 without exception. You know, just normal statistics like that, and if you can't tell, those are insanely improbable statistics. That is insane. And the funny part is, nowadays, if you play life gain in historic, you barely see Heliod on turn 3. Well, it happens, actually. It does happen. 3 months ago, you couldn't actually ever get Heliod on turn 3 any longer. Like, Heliod was the rarest draw in a historic mono white life gain. Now Heliod's like 50% of the time there. And by the way, people commented when I said that that's rigged 3 years ago, that Heliod being 100% on every time on turn 3 for me or for my enemies is rigged. People said, well, statistically, there's a 66% chance of you getting Heliod on turn 3 or having him. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why is it so hard? Why? We're not talking about university math where Jesus God fucking help you to fucking pass that shit. We're talking about middle school math. Oh, god damn it. But anyway, that was the history. Magic has always had a history of this, and I suspect Magic has had a history of botting. Because if you actually go back to my channel, scroll back like a month when... Roughly a month when Edging to Eternity started, I talk about this literally every video. It's strange how all of my opponents are suddenly just now named Bob, Carl, Tim, and stuff. No, seriously. I spent like something like a week and a couple of more days playing literally only against people whose usernames in Arena were like Bob. It was just their actual names. And maybe some kind of, thing at the end. And all of them had a prefix. The same prefix. De Arbiter, or I don't remember what it was. But it was, and all of them had the same prefix. And sometimes there was like Bob or Kyle or Stan or whatever with a different prefix. And that was like a week and some couple of days straight. You can very easily see it if you go back and start watching my videos from August. It was fucking strange, dude. So, botting is also an issue that happens in Arena, and that would make sense because the players are dropping. The players are dropping dramatically, but the biggest problem is the matchmaking rigging that is happening currently. It's fucking off the charts. It is absolutely off the charts, boys. The last 2 videos I did, it was Mono Green Landfall with Hydras and Tifa, and it was Orzhov Life Gain. Let me explain how those games actually went. You saw all the matches that were at least barely interesting, because all of the matches were exclusively against control. Life Gain, the Life Gain decks, pretty much every second game I was against some kind of control, and I got that had white in it, and I got always ratted on turn 4. No aggro plays, very low aggro play draw chance for me, so I was not aggressive even against them, and they just literally every second game almost, I just got ratted on turn 4. Worst case scenario, someone saved the rat until turn 5 because I couldn't even aggro against them, which was hilarious. Or the alternative, every other game, not every second game, but the rest of the games, except a couple of rare exceptions, that those were pretty much the exceptions that you saw, was against mono green landfall. My two most predominant matchups, roughly every second game, and then every like fifth game, there was something outside of the norm. But roughly again, every game pretty much was either controlled at Vratsmi on turn 4, without question, always. And I can't even be aggressive against them. Or me getting lane starved, playing against mono green landfall that always just combos the shit out of me on turn 3, 4, or 5. And, well, I can't do anything because, again, not drawing any aggro. And a lot of games were 2 lands in 10 draws, which is insane. Insane. For, 22 lands, 24 lands, however many lands I had. Which is absolutely insane. And that was for the life gain deck, which is bullshit, obviously. And then I played Landfall. I did not play against the No, I did play like against 1 or 2 life gain decks where I got completely cucked with the lands and shit and didn't draw anything. But when I played mono green, I didn't find any mono green players. I didn't find any of that. You know what I found? I found a shitload of people who were playing single target removal. Not even Vrats, just single target removal bullshit. And the other group of people was literally mono red. Mono red with Screaming Nemesis turn 3, have a fun day, you're completely effed. That was it. Like, every deck just gets queued against the most absolutely asinine fucking counters ever possible. And it is so sad to play. And I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. Maybe some people notice less what they mostly play against, but you are 100% getting this. At the bare minimum, I know most people are going to be able to easily resonate with the most annoying, probably, fact. Now, the worst part about these games that I have had in the past 2 to 3 weeks is not the fact that they're just blatantly rigged like that. They're fucking blatantly rigged to the point that it's super boring. In the sense that in the past 2-3 weeks of playing Magic, I have had not a single loss that I can contribute to me actually deserving it, playing poorly, or whatever. It's just my opponents have everything to deal with me, and, well, I have no chance. No matter what I drop, how I play, they're gonna counter everything I do, and they're gonna get ahead, and I'm gonna lose. And the alternative was the same, but for me winning. Oh, look at that. My opponent is dropping this. I have a perfect counter for it. Oh, my opponent drops this. Well, guess what? I'm again countering them perfectly. Like, the whole thing. Not a single win felt good. Not a single loss felt good. Which is the worst thing, okay? Because, I mean, does it feel fun to actually play a game, fucking win it, and you're like, well, my opponent literally could not do anything for 5 turns straight, and then I just ran away with the game and they conceded. They're playing an aggro fucking deck? An aggro deck. And they're dropping 1 card per turn, 5 turns straight, and I'm just perfectly countering it. That's not fun. That's boring. The win feels absolutely not deserved, and the losses feel the same. This is probably the worst, when nothing feels good. We have had other disastrous situations where the rigging is pretty fucking obvious and pretty bad, but at least then you had like 1 in 5 games where it actually felt like, wow, things aren't happening, my choices actually feel like choices and stuff like that. But currently, no, that's not a real thing. It just doesn't feel... It just feels hollow. And I mean, as long as matchmaking is rigged to that extent where you just AFK for 5 turns straight because you have 2 lands and nothing happens and then you lose, or you win because your opponent somehow magically can't play anything and anything they play you just happen to have always the perfect exact super counter, is insane. It's just fucking insane. Oh, and also, by the way, my absolute favorite thing about matchmaking rigging is when you're playing Mill and Historic. and you just fucking queue into a guy who's every third game that you play is against someone with 200 fucking cards. It's just too good. It's just too good. It's not even Yorio. It's just every third game in Historic that you play, if you play mill, is against someone with 180 or 200 cards in their deck, and it's hilarious. Or maybe guy is blessing. Oh, it's the best stuff ever. I swear, it's so funny. It is so hilarious when that happens. That's my favorite part about rigging. And that's, again, rigging just wins and losses. Because, again, 50% win rate is the goal. Some people are playing literal trash decks because they're just new to the game, or they don't know how to make their deck, or they're trying to experiment and create some kind of thing, right? A brew, as they call it. And these people are going to give up if they don't get a win. So sometimes those magical game happens when you just literally get nothing. You literally get nothing. Oh, and by the way, did you? It's in my shorts. It's on the short. I made a shorts of that in my channel. Something like a month ago, I had an opening hand with 0 lands. I had never fucking seen that before. I did not even know it can happen. I had a hand, literal opening hand, no mulligans, no nothing, with 0 lands. And you can't see it in the short, and I don't remember which video was it attached to, but I remember the context of the video, okay, which makes it even more hilarious. I got a 0 land opener in a deck with 24 lands, by the way, or 23 or 22. It wasn't some kind of like 13, 18 aggro, blah, blah, blah. The context was I was on a win streak, and I won a game that I was not supposed to win. Okay, there's just these games that I can tell that my opponent is playing some kind of complete jank random deck that's really bad, and I'm just drawing so poorly, it's insane. And the deck is just so bad that that person makes a mistake inevitably, and I get to win anyway. And the context was, okay, I won a forced loss. And whenever you win a forced loss, your next game is literally 1 land for 20 turns straight because, reasons. Or your opponent kills you on turn 3 with the most RNG thing ever, and you have not even played a single card because reasons. And then after we won the forced loss, we get a 0 land hand. I did not even know it's possible, by the way, to get a 0 land hand. Imagine, by the way, you're drawing 2 hands and both of them are 0 lands. Ain't no fucking way, Chief. I'm sorry. If you have even a shred of goddamn logic, you cannot defend this shit. But anyway, that's enough yapping for me. This is just a bonus video because why not? Tomorrow is going to be the new expansion. Probably should read what the new cards are. It's the Spider-Verse or something like that, which I don't want to fucking deal with. I'm sorry. Final Fantasy was cool, but Spider-Man, I do not believe it's going to be cool. It's going to be some kind of bullshit fucking one expansion mechanics, and I don't want Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, don't get me wrong. I grew up watching that as a kid before going to fucking school. Okay? When I was young, like 10 fucking years old, 9 years old and shit like that. It was lit, boys. It was lit. The morning Saturday, no, not Saturday, the morning cartoon before school, mwah. And it was our boy Spidey sometimes. Loved it. But no, Magic the Gathering Spider-Man sounds fucking lame as hell. It sounds like another Enter the Dungeon Enter the Dungeon. I shouldn't use it because Enter the Dungeon was literally the best rando stupid gimmick mechanic we have ever had in the game. Not gonna lie, Enter the Dungeon decks are fun. They're really fun. Honestly, they're really fun. But everything else typically is a sad and bad gimmick. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.